Where do you normally visit in Greece? Is it Athens, Mykonos, Santorini, Rhodes, etc.? Of course. But what about the Peloponnese? Have you visited there before or even heard of it? I know very little about that area, so I made it my aim to visit whilst in Greece. To finish my Greece trip, I decided to rent a car from Athens airport and set out to see places like Ancient Corinth and Nafplion, with a lot of history, ruins and Greek food in between. Let's see what I can find. My name is James, but you can call me Hamo. In 2023 I spent a year travelling the world with my girlfriend Emma. Join me as I take a look back over our epic trip, and remember to like and subscribe to keep up with our adventures. Welcome to Roaming with Hamo. I have just arrived from Acrocorinth airport to Athens to pick up my hire car. Unfortunately, they gave me a newer Fiat 500. Grim. Today, the aim is to hit the roads, get used to driving in Greece, and see what the toll situation is like on the way to Ancient Corinth. Here is my accommodation at Pegasus House in Ancient Corinth, a lovely room for 133 Canadian dollars for 3 nights in the centre of town. First up is coffee, and I'm sipping a trendy one here at Town Boardwalk. A few hours later, I went back for dinner because I saw some food come out earlier with my coffee, and just look at this. I'm up early in the morning for a day in Ancient Corinth, and the entry fee is €6. One problem, they're closed on Tuesdays. Winging it does not always work. Plan B is Acrocorinth, which is a short drive up and we can enter the castle there. Also, it is free to get in. There's no real plan here apart from following these maps to different sites, and I'm really looking forward to getting to the top of the castle to get some views. Corinth was a city-state on the Isthmus of Corinth, the narrow stretch of land that joins the Peloponnese to the mainland of Greece, roughly halfway between Athens and Sparta. The modern city of Corinth is located 5 kilometers northeast of the ancient ruins, and Ancient Corinth was one of the largest and most important cities of Greece, with a population of 90,000 in 400 BC. The Romans demolished Corinth in 146 BC, then built a new city in its place in 44 BC, and later made it the provincial capital of Greece. After that history lesson, let's get back to the video, and as you can see, it is a brief walk uphill to the castle, and you'll need your hiking shoes, that's for sure. We have a first glimpse of some views, and today we should be able to see the coast and the newer Corinth. I mean, who doesn't love a castle? All the old relics, cobbled stones, cold walls, and the fact that it's always been perched on top of a hill. Absolute marvels, really. There are many layers, and I have serious FOMO, so I have to go and visit every room. There she is, the view of modern day Corinth and the sea. I aim to get to the top, so let's keep going and see what we can find at the top of the castle. As you can see, no one is here, and the wind is pretty nippy. Top tip, for Ancient Corinth, on a Tuesday, the actual archaeological site is closed. Made that mistake today, didn't know, no one told me. Anyway, I'm here at Acrocorinth. I'm at this castle, look at this view. Absolutely sensational. Bloody windy today though. That is Corinth, the modern day Corinth in the background with the beaches and stuff. Look how blue and yellow that sand is. Stunning views at the top. I spent a good hour or two at the top, basking in the sunshine, finding shelter from the wind, admiring the views all around and checking out all the little signs at the top. I've reached the high point of Acrocorinth. The sun has just come out, thank you very much. It's bloody windy today. In the background that's modern Corinth. Acrocorinth is free to get in. Up top, walk around the site, check out the ruins, unbelievable value. I am starving, so let's see what's in store for dinner. Is Greek food up there with the best in the world? Has to be, surely. Pegasus really spoiled me for breakfast this morning. Right, take two, and the ancient Corinth site is open. In we go, and straight away one of the main temples you want to see is right in front of me, and it is the Temple of Apollo. What a beautiful day for it as well. This temple looks stunning with that blue sky background. This is exactly what I wanted from this trip to Corinth. I just cannot help myself to take as many photos and videos from every angle of this thing, and just look at it. Glorious. Time to check out some other ruins around the site. Each area has these little placards, and what I love about them is what they depict the area to look like in the past. You can imagine the people gathering here to discuss politics, food, gossip, and whether to have baked beans with their souvlaki. Alright, I made that up, I've gone too far, but you get the point. All in all, this was a cracking morning at the site, very quiet, very easy, and very well done. Now I'm walking back to the car to head to Nafplion, but first, a coffee, and a goodbye in the local, and then I'm off. Nafplion is an hour's drive away, and I arrived in the afternoon to check into my hotel called Park Hotel, just outside the Old Town. I'm walking into the Old Town to find some lunch, and my first impressions of the place is trendy, amazing colours everywhere I look, a relaxing vibe, slightly built for tourists, and stunning architecture. You can see the fort at the top of the hill, which is impressive. Let's hear about my brunch.
Trendy little coffee there. Love that cup. That's awesome. Here's my Kayana. Some cheese and olives. Don't like olives, but I'll give them a go. Orange juice, bread, more bread. All this was €11.50. Let's give this trendy little coffee a nice little taste. Oh wow, that is strong. Cool, I might need one of those little cakes with that. That is super strong. Not sure on the taste of the bean, but it's got to be a dark roast, if not medium to dark roast. God, this is pretty good though.
Nafplion has such an amazing history. During the Greek War of Independence, Nafplio was a major Ottoman stronghold and was besieged for more than a year. The town finally surrendered on account of forced starvation. After its capture, because of its strong fortifications, it became the seat of the provincial government of Greece and remained the capital of the kingdom until 1834, when King Otto decided to move the capital to Athens. And after that brief history lesson, I fancy taking a walk through town up some random streets to get some views of the city and then along the waterfront. How amazing does that old town look though? You can see their version of Alcatraz in the distance as well. You cannot beat a walk along the sea on a boardwalk with clear blue skies and mild weather. Dreamy. I'm heading back up the hill to Fortress Acronauplia for some more views and a spot for a sunset. It could be a good place to see it. But I love these little holes in the fort for little lookout points. That fortress up there is Fortress Palamidi. I'm heading there tomorrow before going back to Athens. But my word, just look at these views of Nafplio and the sun out to sea. Can you beat it? I have one quick story. When on the toll roads, I decided to drive into the lane that says automatic payment with the registration plate. I thought I'd try to be clever and get through. As I approached, denied, and 2 or 3 cars then built up behind me. Bearing in mind, this is a motorway, and I had to ask those 2 or 3 vehicles to back up so I can reverse out and go into the right lane. Absolutely embarrassing, but got through it. Lesson learned, don't try and wing your way through toll roads in Greece. It won't work. I found a little place where people were hanging out for sunset, so I plonked myself down to reflect on a great trip in Greece. It was almost coming to an end, and this place was perfect to finish. For my last full day, I'm headed into town for one final walk of Nafplio before driving up to the Fort Palamidi. I absolutely love this place. I can see why the tourists and the cruise ships flock here in the summer. The colourful buildings, the old forts, the trendy little cafes, the independent restaurants, and all within walking distance of each other. To avoid these crowds, however, it's best to come in the shoulder season or the off-season. That's my main message for Greece overall. I love the blue colours of the sea and the sea air hitting my skin. What a place. The drive up to Palamidi is only 10 minutes, and I managed to find a parking spot which you should be mindful of, as coaches take up 10 of those spots in one go. This is probably the busiest site I've been to in Greece thus far. Entry is €8 and this place is huge. This is going to be a heavenly place for views, that's for sure, and decide to follow the main path and walk up as many forts and lookout points as possible. Do we need words for these epic views? I don't think so, so let's enjoy them. You can head to the show notes below to read more on my blog. From this fort you can see the views of the Argolic Gulf, Nafplion as a whole. The Peloponnese exceeded my expectations. It is very easy to get to on the roads, just beware of the tolls, and you will need to pay them. Once in the region, Ancient Corinth has a plethora of history around it for cheap prices. I love the Temple of Apollo. Nafplion was probably my biggest surprise of the whole trip. Never really heard of it before, but Peter Fines came onto my podcast to talk about Greece, and he recommended that I visit, so I did, and he was not wrong. What a place. Amazing architecture, trendy little streets to walk down, a great boardwalk along the water, stunning views from the forts, and all very easy to do. A great vibe with friendly people made it a great experience, and have I mentioned the food? Blimey, Greece, take me back. Thank you Greece for a wonderful experience. I cannot wait to revisit you. This is a dream place. Absolutely surprised here, wasn't sure what to expect. Pleasantly surprised. You've got to come here if you come to Greece. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Please follow and subscribe on my YouTube channel today, and let's go and see the world. Cheers, Hamo.